Yesterday, the Fed announced it will begin Treasury buying starting tomorrow. This is big. This is sudden. And this is exactly the kind of move central banks make when they see danger that the public does not yet see. The Federal Reserve has quietly but unmistakably turned the money printer back on. They won't call it money printing, of course. They'll use softer phrases like Treasury purchases, balance sheet operations, or ensuring liquidity, but the effect is the same. New money enters the financial system. Asset prices inflate. The dollar weakens. And this time, the timing is no coincidence. Why would the Fed restart Treasury buying now? Because the pressure inside the financial system is rising. Treasury markets have been showing signs of strain. Yields have been surging. Demand for U.S. debt has been weakening. And with over $34 trillion in national debt, the U.S. government cannot afford high borrowing costs. So yesterday's announcement that the Fed will begin Treasury buying tomorrow is a signal that something behind the curtain is breaking. When the Fed steps in to buy Treasuries, here's what it really means. 1. The government needs cheaper debt immediately. High yields mean higher interest payments. Higher interest payments mean larger deficits. Larger deficits mean more instability. By buying Treasuries, the Fed pushes rates down. It artificially lowers borrowing costs for the government. This is a politically convenient move, but economically dangerous. 2. Liquidity in the banking system is drying up. If everything was fine, the Fed wouldn't intervene. They only step in when banks, or markets, are struggling with liquidity. This is a replay of what happened before the 2008 crisis and before the 2019 repo crisis. When reserves fall too low, the Fed must print. 3. Inflation is about to get worse again. The Fed claims they are still fighting inflation. Yet they are now adding more liquidity, which historically increases inflation. So why do they do it? Because they fear an immediate crash more than future inflation. Inflation is slow and silent. A credit freeze is instant and catastrophic. 4. Markets cannot function without Fed money anymore. Stocks, real estate, crypto, they all depend on liquidity. Whenever the Fed prints, everything rallies. Whenever the Fed tightens, everything cracks. This cycle is now permanent. The markets are addicted to printed money, and the Fed knows it. 5. This isn't a temporary move. It's the start of a new phase. Treasury buying is not a random tool. It is the modern version of quantitative easing, QE. The moment the Fed starts buying again, it signals. They are no longer confident in the bond market. They are no longer confident in the banking system. They are no longer confident the economy can function without artificial liquidity. This is not a routine adjustment. This is a pivot. What this means for ordinary people when the Fed restarts money printing. Inflation creeps back up. Groceries and rent get more expensive. Saving cash becomes pointless. Assets inflate while wages lag. The rich benefit because they own the assets that rise. The middle class pays because their cost of living rises. Money printing widens the wealth gap every single time. What this means for the future. The Fed's announcement yesterday is the clearest sign yet that the economy is too fragile to survive without constant injections of new money. We have reached a point where the financial system functions only if the Fed prints, the Fed buys, the Fed supports debt markets. This is not economic strength. This is dependency. And once a system depends on money printing, there is no clean exit. Only bigger and bigger doses. Tomorrow's Treasury buying is not the end, it's the beginning.